just because I think a lot of people really think like, you see somebody big and successful, but when you don't know the backstory of how they got there, it's hard to imagine yourself getting there. So for me, I found the wraps when I was 19 years old at a bridal expo. I didn't necessarily need the wraps, and I didn't think that they wouldn't work, but a week later, after entering all the free drawings at this expo, I ended up trying one for 25, and I had really good results. And then from there, what happened was I started referring so many people to the lady I bought my wrap from, and I bought more and more wraps, and she invited me to a wrap party, and I didn't know this was weird, but when she invited me, it was like a Facebook event, and so, well, it was an in-person party, but she made an event, and so I was just so excited about the product that I posted my personal before and after pictures on this event page, and I was like, hey, seriously guys, if you want these wraps, like, you gotta try them, just because I was so excited. And then when she had the party, I was somebody that brought with me 5 people, and just us, we bought over $300 worth of wraps. And so I was just so excited about it. And then after that happened, she's like, Jocelyn, why don't you just sign up to sell this? Instead of making me money, you're going to make money off of it too. And so I was kind of like, sure, why not? And I was actually looking at a different MLM at the time, but I didn't have a passion for the product or the thing that I was going to be selling. And so when I found this business, it was like a no-brainer for me because I loved the products and I really was just sharing it because who doesn't want, these wraps and these results? And so for me, I was super excited about the products, and I was telling my friends. And so when I very first became a distributor in March of 2013, I just started messaging and talking to my friends on Facebook mostly. I had a lot of friends that I didn't know in person, but that I had built a relationship with just because we had things in common. At the time, we were both waiting for our boyfriends to come home from serving a 2-year mission with our church. And so I was friends with all these girls, and then I showed them these wrap results, and they were like, okay, I've got to try them. And just from that, in my first month and a half, I made about $500 between retail customers, loyal customers, and wrap cash. And then I was kind of just like, cool, I'm making money, and I stopped working. You're like, oh, it's residual, I don't have to do anything anymore. And so I feel like some of you can probably relate, because there's those of you that you got your Ruby bonus and you're like, cool, I'm making money, I don't have to do anything anymore. And then guess what happens? My business gradually, every single month, my paycheck dwindled. And it got to the point where I was paying for my auto shipment and my website, probably close to $140 a month, and my paycheck was only $50. And my mom turned over to me one day and she said, why are you still doing that? You're not even making any money. And I, as a 19-year-old, wanted to prove her wrong, because her and my dad were so negative when I started. They're like, oh, it's one of those pyramid things, like, we don't know anybody that's ever made money in them, you're probably not even going to make your money back. So I just wanted to prove her wrong and prove that I could do this, and that I was 19, I had to do what my parents said not to do, right? So that's when I started plugging into training, and that's when I went to an in-person training with Stephanie Dunn. She's my upline's upline. And Stephanie basically just kind of handed it to me. I mean, we were going around the room and she was asking everybody for their goals. And they had a bonus, a $500 bonus, just kind of like the Ruby bonus right now, where you do the steps to success and you get that $500 cash bonus. But it was called a Christmas cash bonus. And when that first came out, all you had to do to get it was do the steps to success for customers through distributors and make sure they got their fast start qualification. And when that came out, I was like, there is no way I can do that. It's way too hard. Like, I don't know 3 people that would want to be distributors. And I just had put it in my mind that I couldn't do it. And then what happened at this training with Stephanie is she basically got me to believe enough in myself for me to say, well, why not try for it and see what happens? And that's also around the same time that I started learning Instagram. And that's where I found my happy place with the business, something that I'm comfortable with, something that I'm good at with social media. And so when I got that $500 bonus, it was a big aha moment for me. When I did my steps to success that first time, it was like, oh my heck. Because, you know, you're in the business, and as soon as you figure out, oh, I just signed up 4 customers and 3 distributors and I made $500, what if I just do that again? And that's what I did. I just did it again. And then 9 months into the business, I finally promoted to executive, and things didn't slow down for me. I went 9 months executive, 11 months Ruby, diamond on my year mark. That was in March. And then I got married in May. So 2 months later, I got married in May. My husband was super against it. I actually signed him up before we were even engaged, which is crazy. But he was my emerald when I went diamond, so that was really cool. And then over that summer, Taylor promoted to diamond and I promoted to double diamond. And then by the end of that year, Taylor also promoted to double diamond, and he still was not on board. And then from there, that next year, by my 2-year mark, I was presidential diamond and my husband was triple diamond. And then fast forward another year, I'm ambassador and Taylor is presidential. So it's just crazy to think that that can still happen even though I sat as a distributor for 9 months. So I just wanted to kind of share that part and make sure you guys know, like, it seems like it goes fast. You're like, holy heck, like all of a sudden you're an ambassador, but it's a lot of time and a lot of hard work. So, okay, start asking your questions.
I love that because it's so true, because I feel like a lot of times when when they first start, they think, gosh, I need to make like this $1,000 right away. And if they don't, then they just kind of get discouraged and they end up quitting. So I love that, you know, you went through that. You kind of struggled at first, and you just, you didn't really believe in yourself. And then just over time, meeting these amazing people that we have, in our business, and all the inspiration that we have, like, they just kind of inspired you to take, that next step and really truly believe in yourself. And, now you're ambassador and top, income earner in a company. And so it's just amazing. You can do whatever you set your mind to. And I always tell people that this business, we have, like, it's such an amazing support system, like, to feed into other people and follow other leaders. And I think that can definitely put a huge impact into your business. Mm-hmm. So I love your story. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with some questions. You guys, I'm going to ask some questions that I know a lot of us kind of drummed up. But if you guys have any questions at the end, then, feel free. We'll unmute unmute everything, and then you guys can start asking some questions. Okay, so the first question is, what's your work day like? So what do you do you work like 8 hours a day, or what's a work life, work a day of work for you?
Okay, so the way I work now as an ambassador is different than when I was working hard pushing for diamond, or when I was working hard pushing for double or triple. And so kind of, I'm not going to share exactly what I do now, because what I did then is more important, because basically, if you can imagine what a Saturday looks like for you, where you don't have to go to work and you can do whatever you want, that's what every single day looks like as an ambassador. Taylor and I are blessed with that we can just go wherever and work wherever, because we know we have that freedom. So it's different now than it was, but that doesn't matter unless you can get there. So I want to focus on what I did before, when I was pushing super hard, because that's more important for you guys to hear. So when I was pushing for diamond, I was working 3 nanny jobs, and I was going to school full time. Plus, I was still dating Taylor and getting engaged and starting to plan a wedding. So I was pretty busy, but I had social media, and that's how I was able to work my business at the same time. So one of the girls that I nannied the most, she was a newborn when I started with her. She was 4 months old. And then I watched her until she was a year old. And so I had the flexibility with that even though I'm taking care of a newborn, feeding her a bottle, or getting her ready for a nap or whatever, that I could still be posting, I could still be messaging people, I could still be talking to people. And um, anytime I wasn't working or wasn't at school, doing the multitask thing where I'm posting when I can and messaging when I can. And yes, I did get several times I got in trouble during school for being on my phone or having my phone out. But then again, I looked at it like, well, I'm paying you guys, so you shouldn't care if I'm on my phone. But anyways, I would work afterwards, and I was really intentional about being super personal, especially on social media, because when you go to a party or you do an expo, you have that face-to-face connection. You already are closer to them in proximity, and it just makes it easier to connect and find something that you can have in common with. You know, they could be wearing a cute shirt, and you can be like, I love your shirt, where did you get it? And you instantly already have more of a rapport and a trust than through social media. And so for me, it's always been on building relationships. You know, I just had a distributor sign up for the BOGO deal, and she literally has been watching me since the day I started. And I had just been a friend to her, and just, it's so important. And then once I went diamond, that's when I quit my nanny jobs that I hated and started doing this full time. And I got married, and then I can tell you I did not have a balance, and there's no such thing as a balance. I can tell you that for sure. And so if you are pushing, like, I was working almost all day. Like, I was just so excited and passionate about what I was doing and what I had my hands on. I still do. But like, it would go, you know, like you're rolling over in bed because you kind of woke up in the middle of the night or like towards the morning, and you look over at the clock, and normally it's like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and you're like, sweet, I've still got a few more hours before I have to get up. I was so excited about my business and about pushing and working that when that happened, I was wide awake, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's 6 a.m. here, but it's 8 a.m. on the East Coast. Like, people are waking up, I've got to post. And so I was just so excited, and like, I was working from the minute I woke up to the minute I went to sleep. And I was posting pretty close to every hour, and then all throughout the hour, I was adding new people, and I was forming relationships with them. So it's crazy, like, even though I didn't have a lot going on, because yes, I had no other job but It Works at that point, and it was summer, so I wasn't going to school. I was by the pool a ton, and I was watching Netflix a ton, but I was still very much utilizing the time that I had, making sure that I was always working my business in one way or another. And I think that's a really important thing, is we're going to have things going on even if I didn't that summer. But there's always going to be ways that you can work your business. You know, you go to a family reunion, you can hand out a few Blitz cards, you know. I just lost my train. Oh, balance, about that too. But that summer, this is crazy, and I really want to reiterate, because everybody in this business, I swear, they say summer's a slow season, but I went from a diamond to a double diamond with my husband as my diamond. So almost building 2 businesses at the same time over the summer. And those summer months, I signed up close to 50 customers every single month. It's not slow unless you make it slow, you know? The reason why I've been able to sign up so many people is because I'm always working. I'm always planting those seeds and forming relationships. So if you feel like your business has been slow this summer, it's probably because you're not stepping it up. And the summer also was hard on our marriage. I can tell you that. Like, I was not giving Taylor the quality time that he needed. And so if that's kind of where you're at, where your husband or your spouse or your significant other is like, you're on your phone too much, or they're kind of not really supportive right now, I highly recommend taking the 5 love language test. That has really helped us. And it just made it so that I know, okay, Taylor's quality time and he needs physical touch. So at least once a week and at least 1 hour a day, I need to just put down my phone and not work and just give him that quality time that he needs. And so, I mean, there's not going to be a balance, especially when you're working and pushing hard. I mean, sometimes you're going to mess up and you're going to spend too much time working instead of spending that time with your spouse or your kids or whatever, or going to the gym. But I think the important thing with that is that just when you do stuff, do it with 100%. So if you're working, give that 100%. And then if you're with your kids, give them 100%. And when you're with your spouse, give them 100%. Instead of trying to half-ass everything, because it just never works the right way. Does that kind of answer your question? I think the biggest thing is just when I was pushing so hard and had that vision and knew where I was going, it was like I was always working in one way or another. And I think a biggest thing too, especially when you're pushing for promotions, is that communication with your team. Like, you've all got to be communicating and being on the same page that way as well.
Yeah, I agree. And I love what you said about the summer, because it's so often that you hear, my business is so slow right now, or, it's summer, so everyone's on vacation, or, it's just a slow time right now. And I always tell everyone, I'm like, it's just in your mindset.
Yep.
Because people say that around like December too. And I remember like last December, I was like, okay, everyone says it's so slow. I'm going to show like everyone that it is not slow. And so it just truly, really is in your mindset.
Yep.
And so I love that you said that. And also about the whole balancing thing, I think it's so true that when you're really pushing, like you want to find that balance, but when you're really pushing for a promotion or something that you're really going after for the next couple of months, I don't remember who said it, but they said sacrifice now that you put in is, you just have to look at it as an investment for your future.
Mm-hmm.
And I truly believe that, because whatever we're doing now, whether it's we have to leave our kids for a little bit, or sacrifice time with our husband or whatever, it's for our future. Because like now, look at like Jocelyn Yates, like she doesn't have to, I call you Jocelyn Yates. Now you don't have to, you and Taylor have like your freedom. You don't have to pick and choose like when, an hour here, whenever you have that freedom of time. So, and it's because you put in all that work. So, okay. So what's one thing, or a few things, if you have a few things, but what's something that you know now that you wish you would have known when you started?
So, my upline was wonderful, but I felt like I didn't have the training on how important the steps to success were. I mean, like, I never really envisioned that I could actually do them. And I think part of me too, like, I know I knew how to place people, but I didn't know about fast start bonuses. So I probably missed out on like 5 or 6 before I even promoted to executive, just because I had no clue. And so if I would have known that I could place customers underneath my distributors, I would have promoted so much faster. That's probably one of the biggest things. So take it with your team and make sure they know, like, okay, once you get your 4 customers, you sign up a distributor, let me help you get a $100 bonus. Because I think, they hear fast start bonus, but let them know, like, let me help you get $100, because I had no clue, and if I would have known, I probably would have promoted a lot faster.
Yeah, awesome. And so for some of you guys who are new and you don't know what a fast start qualified bonus is, that's when you personally enroll a distributor, and you help them get 2 people underneath them, and that distributor needs to be commission qualified within their first month. But once you do that, then you get an extra $100. So that's awesome. Okay, so let's see. So we've all been in ruts. So I'm sure you've been in ruts. You've kind of talked about your struggle in the beginning. So what kind of ruts have you been in, and what do you kind of do to get out of them?
Oh, the rut question. So I'm really big, especially lately, on mindset. Like, when I was pushing so hard, like literally, after I promoted to executive, I was just looking back at it. That next month, I signed up 6 distributors and like over 20 customers, and I had no clue what I was doing, And then ever since then, I've always, at least once, completed my steps to success, but usually several more times than that every month. And so I look back at that and think, like, there's no such thing as a rut. It's all in your mind. If you feel like you're in a rut, then you'll be in a rut. And so for me, it's the positive affirmations of telling yourself, like, I can do this. I am a loyal customer and distributor signing machine. And when I have that positive affirmation, and then especially when I focus on my small and simple goals, that's when I've been able to see the most success. And so I know for me, like, if I feel like I'm getting in a rut when I'm not, I mean, like, I'm so used to signing up so many people that if I go like 2 or 3 days without signing somebody up, I feel like I'm in a rut because it's not normal for me to not. And so I always go back and try to think, what can I do today that's going to make a difference that I didn't do yesterday? And usually, for me, it's setting goals every single day. Like, you have to have a goal. Like, how many times are you going to try to post? How many people are you going to try to message? How many people are you going to follow up with? And even more importantly, I've always tried to look at I go back when I was promoting to Diamond. I remember watching Ambassador Diamond Jeree Kneller, and almost every single time she would sign up a loyal customer or a distributor, she would post about it. And I noticed that when she was doing that more and more, I had this mind shift where I was like, if she is an Ambassador Diamond and she is signing up almost one person every single day, if I just do what she does and try to sign up one person every single day, then I'll be ambassador and I'll be just as successful, if not more, than she is. And so that was kind of always my goal. Like, I'm going to try to sign up one person today. And for the most part, when I started doing that, I almost did. I almost signed up one customer every single day. Some days I didn't, and then other days I'd sign up maybe two. And so I noticed for me when I was signing up a lot of people, when I wasn't in a rut, it's because I was setting those goals. And so I think the biggest thing too, it's a scripture in the Proverbs. I can't remember the exact scripture, but it says, when there is no vision, the people perish. You are never going to get where you want to be if you don't have a vision. If you don't know where you're going, you're never going to get there. And so, I mean, that's been my thing now. Like, I'm not signing up as many people as I had been because I'm trying to figure out what's my vision. I'm ambassador, now what, And so if that's you, if you feel like you're in a rut, it's probably because your why isn't big enough. Your vision isn't big enough. You've got to, dream bigger and think, what do you want to accomplish? And so for me, when I've done that and I've had that vision, like, especially when I was pushing for double, for triple, for press, for ambassador, my goal was I need to sign up a person every single day because I knew if I did that, I would get there. So I think that's the best advice I have for if you're in a rut or you feel like things are slow, is set those daily goals. And then don't just message 50 people or whatever that goal was. The difference between somebody that signs one person every single day versus somebody that doesn't is I'm going to do whatever it's going to take to sign up that person. So I'm going to message people until somebody says yes. I'm not just going to message 50 people. So have that mindset. If you have a goal, do whatever it takes to get that goal every single day. And then I'm always somebody that I'm very self-motivated. So if I set myself a small goal, then I'm more likely to accomplish it. As an example, when I was pushing for Double Diamond, like I said, watched Netflix like all summer. And before I would let myself watch the next episode of something, or before I would let myself watch the new episode of Pretty Little Liars or something, I made it a goal that I could not watch it until I signed up a customer. And so give yourself little rewards as you're going when you do reach your goals, because I know for me, when I do that, I was so much more motivated to want to sign up a customer, because sometimes, yeah, we have the big picture, but we don't always see the big picture. So put the little things in there too, and that makes a big difference.
Yeah, cool. I love that. So I always tell like my team there's three like main steps you have to do every day, and this business takes consistency. So one is going to be posting. Two is going to be building those relationships and reaching out to people, whether you're messaging or having parties, doing that every day. And then three is, following up with people. And so, so what are the things that you do like every day that gets you to get one customer or one distributor every single day?
So social media It's basically about four things. It's about posting, adding new people, messaging people, and following up. If you're not doing those four things consistently every single day, then you're never going to be successful on social media. And then if you're not on social media, or maybe that's not the best way for you to work your business, then it's going to be talking to people in person or calling them, or even more importantly, getting the wrap on somebody. So, this is something that I look back on my business when I very first started, because I didn't have Instagram as my source of customers when I first started. I noticed that I was wrapping a ton of people, and those people, just like me, they tried one wrap and they fell in love and they wanted more. So it was really easy to upsell them to become a customer or a distributor once they had that first taste. And so if you're not working on social media, then that should be your main goal every single day, is to try to get the wrap on somebody. Because, especially if you're looking like at your auto shipment, you have 8 wraps. If you sold those 8 wraps throughout the month, those people are going to want more. They're going to sign up as a customer or a distributor. And so you could end up potentially with 4 customers and 4 distributors, which is your steps to success. So, so posting, adding new people, messaging people, following up. And then if you're not using social media as your primary, it's like face-to-face or calling people on the phone and getting the wrap on people.
Perfect. So how many times a day, or how many people do you message? And do you message people, like, say you're adding, I'm sure your network is pretty big on Facebook now, but say you're adding 100 people every day. Like, how many would you go and then just message those people, or do you build that relationship first with them? And then how many people do you normally message every single day?
So the way I message is very different from a lot of people. For me, I've never messaged, when I'm pushing for a promotion, yeah, I do message people. Or when there's a promotion like there is right now with the buy one, get one, it's all about follow up. But the way I typically message people, especially with social media, is I contact them about nothing to do with the products or the business. Usually the first thing that comes out of my mouth is some sort of a compliment. And besides just a compliment, I try to ask them a question so that they feel more likely to respond. I think that's a big thing, especially right now, because I feel like the trend is people try to pretend to care about others on social media, and then after they've had that small talk conversation for 5 minutes, they're like, hey, by the way, I have this product, do you want to try it? And so I see so many times, some of my friends on Facebook will be like, I'm so sick of It Works distributors pretending to be my friend and then trying to sell me stuff. And so for me, and I look back, I've never done that. I've always just tried to be a friend, interact on their page, send them a compliment, ask them questions, because I know that the more I do that and the more I message them, the more they're going to see my posts. They're going to see that I am a distributor, that I do sell these products, but I'm not pushy with them. So even if I'm not messaging them, they're getting other messages from people probably, and I know that when they are ready, they're going to contact me. And then it's just it's a waiting game. I know if I'm posting enough before and after pictures of results, eventually they're going to see something that catches their interest enough, or they're going to watch our story long enough, our lifestyle posts, that they're going to finally message me, be like, okay, I give in, tell me about this. And so for me, it's 100% I message to build relationships. I don't message to try to sell anybody anything. And that's how I've built my entire business.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I love that. And I do it similar. I know a lot of this team does the same thing, but what we'll do as well is, if we add people to our network, what I do is within the next 24, 48 hours, I just message them and just say, hey, Sarah, thank you so much for adding me as your friend. You have a beautiful family. I look forward to getting to know you, kind of thing. Because then I feel like they go on to then they're like, okay, who is this? And then they'll go on to my page and kind of see about me. And then I don't even bring anything up, So when somebody, like, say you post, or you post and just then somebody likes or comments on there, do you then go and message them and just say, hey, are you interested in this product, or hey, are you interested in making some extra income?
Yeah, so especially with comments, I make sure like to follow up with those people, follow through with them. And then the likes on Instagram, I hate messaging on Instagram. Like, I just feel like it's so disorganized. So I don't do that, but every once in a while I have my husband do it for me. So, I mean, the messages he sends are pretty simple. I'll look one up just because I mean, like, these are people that I'm following. They're following me. They're liking my posts. So it's always just been super simple when he does message them.
While you're looking that up, so with our team right now, we have a challenge going on right now. And so this week it's to build your network. And so, you know, everyone's trying to build their network up. And most people, they have a network of anywhere from 300 to like 1,000. So where would you say is like that good, like that healthy network about, like where would that healthy number to really start to see an impact on social media with your business?
I don't know if there's like a specific number that you're gonna hit. I don't remember who said it or what, but I remember seeing in my notes like years ago that once you hit about 2,000 to 3,000 followers on Instagram, that's when your business will start to take off. And I don't know if that's necessarily true, but I remember writing that down at one point. Because I mean, like, I'm not gonna lie, when I first started this business, I was too afraid of what other people thought of me that I wasn't really posting on Facebook, and I wouldn't post on my personal Instagram account. I actually had a separate Instagram account, which is my Jocelyn Rap account that now has like 24,000 followers. I started that from zero. And um, even even though I did start that at zero, as an executive, I was still signing up close to 20 customers a month. And that's because I was consistent with adding those new people and forming relationships. It does not matter how many people are seeing, like, it doesn't matter how many followers you have. It just matters how personable you are and if you're consistent with your posts. That being said, if you only have 100 followers, those 100 people are not going to take you to where you want to be. You have to always be adding new people into your warm market.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the message that Taylor sends, it says, "Hey girl, thanks for all the love on my posts. I noticed you liked my pictures, so I had no choice but to check out your profile. And girl, you are absolutely stunning. I think you'd be amazing at this business. Have you ever considered an extra income?" So, I mean, it's simple. I mean, I'm telling her, like, hey, I noticed you liked my picture, so I looked at your profile, give them a compliment, and then ask them, like, I think you'd be amazing at this. Would you be interested in learning more? So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'd keep it simple. I mean, and it depends on, like, if they liked lifestyle posts versus product posts. It changes a little bit, but for the most part, like, it's just keep it simple.
Yeah, definitely. That's great. Um, so what is let me see. So when you're adding to your network, where did you go to find, like, what did you do to add to your network? Where did you find people to, add on Facebook or Instagram?
Facebook groups are pretty big, so like I said earlier, I was friends with all sorts of girls that I knew from my church, just through Facebook. I didn't know them in person, but it was through a Facebook group that we were in that I was able to connect with these girls they're from all over the place. And then so Facebook groups, like, find something that you have that you can have in common with somebody else. So at the time, that's what it was for me. Now I'm in, like, I try to find like newlywed groups, or I have German Shepherds, so I find other German Shepherd owner groups type of thing. So find something that you would have in common with somebody else. I think that's really important, is like, you don't want to just sit and go, I mean, if you're not a newlywed and you go into newlywed groups, they're going to be like, what are you doing in here? You're already like a veteran, you know what I mean? So you want to find, or like if you're in a German Shepherd owner group and you don't have German Shepherds, what are you ever going to post about to form relationships? So make sure that you are in groups that you have something in common with those people. And that's kind of what I do, especially when you're trying to build outside of like your mutual friends of friends and things. And then I honestly will just go and I try to find people that I went to high school with, and then I look at who they're friends with and maybe see, like if I have a few mutual friends with somebody, then that's something that I'll do. So like, as an example, when Taylor and I got married, he lived in Arizona for a few years, and I don't know anyone in Arizona. So I went through his friends list, and I became friends with some of the girls that he knew in high school when he lived there. So, I mean, we have a good enough reason to become friends. Like, hey, you're friends with my husband, let's be friends. But I think that's kind of the biggest thing, is you've just got to be creative with connecting with people that way. Or like, as an example too, I just signed up a distributor this month, at the beginning of the month, and he was my best friend in 8th grade, his little brother. So, I mean, you just find friends on Facebook, you know? You just got to be creative with your 100s list and think of people and then try to find them. And then as far as Instagram goes, kind of the same thing. I try to find things that I like or things that I would have in common with somebody else. So you can do that with hashtags. You can even look up locations. So if I wanted to start building a team, as an example, somewhere in Las Vegas, I could find a popular restaurant or somewhere that people are going to geo tag on Instagram, and I can follow all the people that were at that location. And so it's cool with Instagram that way, is because you can specifically try to build a team in one area by following those types of people that are there. Obviously, if you pick like Disneyland, you're going to get people from all over the place, but you probably get the idea with that one.
Yeah, perfect. And then how do you organize? We always say fortune is in your follow-up. So how do you organize your follow-ups?
I am the most unorganized person when it comes to follow-ups. I am so bad. Like, the girl I was telling you that followed or that signed up after watching me for 3 years, and when she messaged me to sign up, she's like, okay, I've probably contacted you about 4 times about the business, but I'm finally ready. I had no idea, like, I had no idea who she was. Like, I totally had forgotten. Like, I'm so bad, especially when it comes to Facebook Messenger. It's just, oh.
Yeah.
So, you don't have to be the most organized person when it comes to follow-up. It just matters if you do it or not. Oh, I wonder if I could find that. My friend, do you guys know Sherry Lynn Alcala? Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
Okay, so Sherry Lynn shared this awesome statistics at, I think it was the It Works U in Michigan. It was so good, and I'm going to see if I can find the statistics that she shared, because it was like such an aha moment for me, especially when it comes to following up. And I hope for you guys it'll also be an aha moment. Maybe if I search follow up. If not, if I can't find it, then I'll just paraphrase.
Okay.
But it was so good.
Yeah, I am definitely, I'm type A, but I try to stay organized, but I'm like a messy organization person. Yeah. So, but what I'll do is I have just a planner, and so what I'll do is like every single month, like for my new potentials, like say my new potentials in July, I write them all down, all my distributors, and then all of my loyal customers, and every day I'm, making a goal to add new people to that list, and that way I know like next month I can go back to like my July's potentials and my, my June's, and so that's how I do it, but it's definitely not the best, way to stay organized.
Okay, I found it.
It works for me.
Okay, these are statistics, and it's crazy. Like, I really hope you pay attention and just think about just the distributors and networks and think about these numbers. And this is why there's so many people that say that they're not successful. 48% of salespeople never follow up with a prospect. half of us never that half of the people that get into a business like this never follow up. 25% of salespeople make a second contact and then stop. 12% of salespeople only make 3 contacts and then stop. Only 10% of salespeople make more than 3 contacts. So out of everybody on your team, only about 10% are following up more than 3 times.
Wow.
That's statistically. But now let's look at actual sales. 2% of sales are made on the first contact. 3% of sales are made on the second contact. 5% of sales are made on the third contact. 10% of sales are made on the fourth contact. And 80% of all sales are made on the 5th to 12 contact. So if you're not signing people up, it's because you haven't followed up enough times. It takes on average 5 to 12 or more times of talking with somebody and following up with them for them to even consider purchasing or becoming a distributor from you. So if you are not following up, you are selling your business short. You will never be successful in this business if you never follow up, period. So even though I'm disorganized, there's going to be that one day where I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go through my messenger and I'm going to scroll down till 2013 and I'm going to message everybody that I've ever talked to. And I do that until I get sick of it. Same thing with my phone. The way I keep it organized is I don't save people's phone numbers in my phone unless they sign up. So I go through my phone and I have probably over 1,000 messages in my phone now that I scroll down to the bottom to the last people I talked to, which in this case, it's from March of 2016. I scroll down to them that I haven't talked to them for 3 months, and I message them first. And I go through until I get somebody that says yes, or I get a few people that respond. And it took me a long time. It took me 3 years of contacting people and having people message me interested that still have not signed up for me to build up that big follow-up list in my phone. So obviously, when you first get started, you're not going to have a big follow-up list, but you're going to have a big message list. You've got to message and tell everybody what you're doing so that you can build that list of who you're actually following up with those 5 to 12 times so that you get that purchase.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's perfect. That's awesome advice. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to ask one more question, and we'll open it up. I know that there's a couple people who have a few questions. And if you want to share anything else, then you can. So what are the first steps? I know I hear it all the time, and it happens to me. I feel like it happens to a lot of people in this business. But you sign up a distributor, and you don't hear from them. Or you sign them up, and 2 weeks later they quit. So what are some of the first steps you take after you sign up a new distributor? How do you work with them? What are the first couple of steps you take with them, and how often do you kind of hold their hand, if you even do hold their hand?
Okay, so I'm the kind of person that I make sure people know that I'm always there for them, but I am not there to sit and hold their hand. So what Taylor and I do, especially with our new distributors, is as soon as they sign up, as soon as we see them in the computer, we add them into our Facebook groups, and we make sure that they know how to get into their website. They know how to fill out the tax information. They know where the training videos are. And then I have them, let me look at my message I send. I can't remember exactly what I have them do.
What training videos do you send them? Because I know in the eSuite that It Works You, there's no training videos anymore, right?
There are, but I made my own video, so this is an idea that you can do. I felt like it would be more personal, I was like, hey, I'm so excited you're a distributor with us, type of thing. So I send them that, and I can send it to you afterwards if you guys want to watch it. I feel like it's kind of boring. Maybe I should make a new one, but what I did for this video was I used Google Hangouts so I could do the screen share thing. If you have Zoom, you can do the screen share that way too, which is pretty cool. But basically, I had my mom sign up my dad as a distributor, And so I used my dad's account to like log in and go through the tax information and like literally walk them through it with a new account so they could actually see what you were supposed to do. So I did that, and then I have them go to the It Works You tab, and then I kind of showed them that they're kind of hidden. All of the old Training Academy videos are still there. So you just got to click on the buttons and you'll find them. And then I have them print out the compensation plan and the It Works You guidebook. If you've never heard of the It Works You guidebook, you're going to be blown away when you get it. I have one right here somewhere mixed in with my steps to success and all my charts I printed. Here we go. So the guidebook is amazing. It has everything like you could think of. I mean, the first page, it talks about like why ADBV for the auto shipment. It talks about wrap rewards. It talks about going Ruby. It talks about wrap parties and gives them tons of tips on how to do that. And it talks about like the It Works You videos that they have on how to move customers and things like that. And then it even has a list of all of the products with a brief description of what every product does so they can read through and know what products we have. And then it keeps going. Sorry, I like going through it with people because it's just cool. And then it has like the It Works events page on it. It has all of the call information, like where they can find that information for the weekly calls. It has all of the It Works global pages like the Facebook and Instagram links. It has customer service information, shipping information, seriously everything that a new distributor would need. And then obviously the compensation plan is walking them through how they're going to make money. It walks them through the steps to success. And then obviously print them off. That's one thing I'm big with my team is printing off the steps to success in the Ruby chart. Because same thing with the vision, you're never going to get there if you don't have it in front of you. Set that goal. So I go through that and have them print those off. And then as soon as I like have that, I'm like, okay, your first goal is 4 customers. And that's what I try to focus on. So in this message that I send, it says, if you had amazing news, who would be the first 4 people that you would call to tell that amazing news? Those are going to be the people that you're going to ask to become your customers. And then I think the biggest thing too is like that has helped me get people to respond. You know, you have those distributors that sign up and then you never hear from them again. What I do is at the end of this message that I send, I ask a question. Same thing with your potentials. If you ask a question, they usually respond. Same thing with distributors. So I usually ask them like, okay, like I want to help you get your business started on social media. Can I send you a sample message? Do you want a sample message or a sample post? And then I send them one of those. And I usually just send them a picture of my personal before and after, kind of like a product tester type post. And then I also ask them, when in the next week are you available for a one-on-one coaching call? So I give them the option to take that one-on-one training if they want it. And there's some people that they jump on board and they want that. And there's some people that are like, nope, I'm good. Like, I don't need it. I've got your, you know. So I let people use as much of me as they want to use. But you have to make sure for that to happen that they know that you're always there. Another thing that I do, especially for training new distributors, is every single week on my team page, and this is something you could start implementing in your team if you don't, because sometimes you just never know the people on your team if they're training their team or not. So every single week we do a How to Go Ruby training, and we focus on the steps to success. And so every once in a while, I'll have one of my diamond and above leaders do that training and give their tips and tricks so that it's not just me giving the same advice every week. So that's something I highly encourage you doing with your team is like try to do some sort of a training every week on the basics, on going Ruby, on the steps to success. So, I mean, I know the training I'm doing with my team tonight, we're focusing on their game plan for getting on the cruise. So I think that's big, is just break it down super simple as possible, and focus. Okay, your first goal is 4 customers. They don't need to know about the 3 distributors or the 5 to chart for Ruby. They just need to get those 4 customers first. That's their first goal. So hopefully that kind of helps. I think the biggest thing is keep it simple, and then just look back to what do you wish you would have done differently, or what do you wish you would have known when you first got started. Because I know for me, I watched so many videos that talked about 80, 80, 80, 80, talking about cabs. I didn't need to know that, you know? So I wish I would have had that focus, like, okay, get your 4 customers. Once you're done that, let me know, and then we'll get you to the next thing.
Perfect. So do you give them like a goal to get their first 4 little customers in 72 hours or a week or anything like that? Or?
Yeah, this isn't necessarily duplicatable, but what I've done for my personally enrolled is if they get their 4 customers in 72 hours, I tell them that I'll buy them a shirt at the At Work store. So, you don't necessarily have to do that. That's something that I do. You can just challenge them. Like, I want to challenge you to get your 4 customers before your starter kit comes in the mail. You could give the same challenge. Like, I want to challenge you to pre-sell 3 wraps that are in your starter kit, and then you can use the 4th one, or whatever it is. I think when you can help them start setting those goals, and that's really important. And then another thing that definitely helps is make sure you know their why and how much money they want to make monthly. Because how can you help them get what they want, or where they want to go, if you don't know what it is? I think that's a big thing. So ask them how much they want to make up per month. Ask them why they joined this business, what's driving them in the business. And then from that how hard to push them.
Yeah, perfect. And do you kind of encourage them to, since they just started, they're not really big on posting or anything like that, do you kind of encourage them to start posting once a day, twice a day, 3 times a day? Or
3-3 rule.
3-3 rule. Okay. Perfect. Do you have anything you want to add before we open up to everyone else? That was amazing information, by the way. I could just pick your brain for hours and hours.
I think the biggest thing is that you've got to realize, it's something, Stephanie said this at Green Carpet, so for those of you that weren't at Green Carpet, you're going to love this. At least I loved it when she said it before so many times, but it's not that I can and others can't, it's that I will and others won't. The only way that you are going to be successful in this business is if you put the excuses aside and just do the work. People always talk, there's 2 fears. There's the fear of failure, and then there's the fear of success. But in reality, there's no such thing as the fear of success. It's just you're afraid to do the work because you know it takes hard work to be successful. So it's not that I can and others can't, it's I will and others won't. And you've got to step up and do the things that you don't necessarily want to do, but if you don't do them, you'll never get where you want to be. I think the biggest thing I just take a look at yourself and truly ask yourself, do you want to live like you lived today for the rest of your life? Or do you want something different? You've got to make a change starting today. You'll never get there unless you make that leap of faith in your mind to just do it, to just go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And it's so true. Like, when I first started, I was so skeptic about, I love the products, but about the business, I didn't really even believe in. I remember one of my uplines, Jackie, you guys, she was double diamond making, $6,000 a month. And I'm like, there's no way she's making $6,000 a month selling these wraps. And then I started getting to know other people, other leaders in this business making even more than that. I'm like, shoot, like if they're doing this, like why can't I? And that's when I really pushed. I'm like, and so it's true. You just have to believe in yourself and just not give up. So that was amazing, Jocelyn. So, okay, we're going to open it up to any of you guys. Whoever wants to ask questions, here's your chance. You guys can just unmute your phone and ask away. So we'll just leave it maybe just a couple more minutes. I know we've been on here for an hour. So anybody have any questions?
Okay, I'm going to ask a question.
Okay.
This is like, some of my friends are going to laugh. So Jocelyn, I love your pictures. And so I need
not following me, or I guess subscribing to me on YouTube, I actually just made a video on like my selfie tips and tricks and how I edit photos with my phone. But I mean, one of the biggest tips is never take a photo unless you can see the light in your eyes. So with the light right now, I have a little bit of light in my eyes, but I probably wouldn't take the picture due to the shadows. So I just kind of walk through basic stuff like that, but literally, like, my neighbors probably think I'm a retard. I have my tripod, like, you know, like a big photographer tripod that you stick a camera on top. I take, like, the part that hugs your phone on the selfie stick, and I screw that to my tripod, and I stick my self-timer on. I look like an idiot all the time. And then just luckily I have a trained husband and trained dogs that'll sit and pose for me. But, like, just, I don't know. Just, I don't know what it is, but I think it's when we went to Hawaii, this January, I just got over the fear of caring what other people thought of me taking stupid selfies. And so, like, Taylor was golfing that morning, and so I was on the beach by myself, and I was like, I have to post pictures on the beach, you know? And so I literally was, like, laying down on my cute little It Works pillow or blanket that I got, and, like, extending my selfie stick all the way out, and, like, taking a picture, like, trying to pose at the same time, and then, like, looking at it like, oh, that's not a good one, and doing that over and over again. Like, I felt like the biggest retard, but I feel like, I don't know, I think the biggest thing is just take it until you feel like it looks good. And so that's why I love the selfie camera, because then you can, like, pose yourself that way. But definitely look up my selfie video that I just posted on YouTube the other day, because it'll help.
Yeah, I'm going to. And my favorite picture by all times, I just have to say, and everyone's going to laugh at me for it, is your mermaid picture. So
I didn't take those, but
I'm like, you have a long selfie stick if you did that by yourself.
No, those ones were like summer of 2013, so I was a distributor. I wasn't really doing anything at the time, but they were fun, so.
That's so cool. I know, your pictures are perfect. All right, does anybody else have any questions? It's your chance.
I do.
Okay, go for it.
This is Gina. So I hear a lot of people say keep it simple, and you know, the first question I get asked a lot by people on like my posts is how much does it cost? So I want to give the loyal customer price, but do you go into, you know, the detail on what the loyal customer program is, or do you just say the price?
Okay, so I used to do it this one way, and then I started watching what everybody else was doing, like, oh, it's this much if you do the 90-day challenge, and I was like, oh, I should try it that way. And I noticed that when I started doing that, I wasn't signing up as many people, because for me, that was really complicated. And so for me, keeping it simple, say as an example, they're interested in the wraps and they ask me how much it costs, I usually will do it I do it two different ways. The first way, if I don't know necessarily if they want to become a loyal customer or a distributor, and I want them to have the option of becoming a distributor, then I'll say it's $4 for $59 as a loyal customer, or it's $4 for $99 to become a distributor and make extra money. So I do that, and then if I don't do that, then I just make sure to follow up with them after their 3 months and say, hey, it's time to upgrade to become a distributor. But the other way that I've worded it, and this is how I worded it when I was signing up like 50 customers a month when I promoted to Double Diamond, was I'll tell them, and I posted this all the time, like I would tell people in my posts the same verbiage. The wraps are $4 for $59 as a loyal customer. A loyal customer is somebody that orders one product for 3 months. You can change the product each month. So sometimes I'll just say it's $4 for $59 as a loyal customer. Have you ever heard about our loyal customer program? And then when they say no, that's when I'd say a loyal customer is somebody that orders one product for 3 months. You can change the product each month. That's all I say. That's it.
Perfect. I love how short and simple and sweet that is, right to the point. Does anybody else have any questions?
I have a question. some tips for like how I actually just became a distributor yesterday, and what are like the tips for having a party?
Okay, so I'm not a huge partier. I used to be more, and sometimes I do like weekly parties for my team. But when I very first got started, I definitely had a launch party, and I actually had a good turnout, but nobody signed up. Isn't that funny? But I think the biggest thing is try to get as many people as you possibly can to try the wraps. So even though at my first party I didn't have anybody sign up as a customer or a distributor, because they had tried the wraps, they started, like, I signed up customers after the fact. It's following up. So, and then same thing, like if somebody says they can't go, then be like, okay, that's no problem. Like, what about next week? What about tomorrow? Try to just get them in person so that they can try the wrap, because once they try the wrap, they're going to want more. And then as far as the party goes, try to keep it super simple. One thing I really like to do is go through, I don't even think I have one right here, at least not the new ones. The new ones are pretty cool, but I take a product catalog. They come in your starter kit, so you'll get those when you get your starter kit. But I go through and I just kind of show them how many products that we have, and then I highlight a few of them. So ask your upline like which ones to highlight, but I usually will talk about the ones that I personally use. You haven't used them yet, so unless you were a loyal customer before.
I was, yeah.
Yeah, so usually the big highlights are like the wraps, defining gel, hair, skin, and nails. If there's old people, then the Wow wrinkle cream. If there's like moms, the stretch mark cream. And then I always highlight Confianza because that's one of my favorites. And then like Thermofit and Fat Fighters. So
Cool.
That's awesome. All right, let me see. I think somebody just asked a question. Somebody says, do you charge for the person to try a wrap at the party? I'm guessing so.
yeah, I always charge people for wraps. I'm not going to give away free money, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that's an important thing is don't wrap them until you have the money. And so like the last wrap party I did was with one of my newer distributors. She did a launch party, and I was in the wrap room with people wrapping them, and it was her job to collect the money and hand them a wrap, and then they'd walk back to me. So if you have somebody there that's there to help you, then that's awesome. But if not, then just don't give them a wrap or hand them the wrap until they've paid you.
Yeah, and then Brittany, we always charge, or I always charge like $25 a wrap. So,
Yep.
Yeah, so that's what we can charge. And it's great because when you guys get 2 loyal customers, and we can buy a box of wraps for $25. So, it's a big profit right there when you sell them for $25 each. So, all right, does anybody have any other questions? We probably have time for one more. No? Okay. All right, well, Jocelyn, thank you so much. We can't even tell you how much we appreciate your time that you have given to us. We're so thankful for you, and this was just an amazing Zoom that we've had with you. So we thank you so much for just being so amazing and, showing us one team, one mission for sure.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Amanda. That was super fun.
Yeah, that was. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll talk to you
Thank
later.
you.
Oh, I gotta pee so bad. That was like brutal. But, okay, hope you guys liked that. I was a guest on a Zoom and I wanted to share with you my stuff I shared. So have a good night.